All right, I'm coming back with another one. I lost a video, so it somewhat interrupted and staggered my flow of what I did and didn't say. But I was saying, I was trying to go for so there's a few things that make us a professional, I think, in my taste, and it doesn't have to be a lot of different things, but it's a few significant things. One is like for a driver would be awareness of blind spots, and then another one would be to follow through on commitments as maybe the most power one of the most critical parts of communication is to follow through on commitments. I made the video in the previous series referencing a book on poetry, and then I said in the video that I would include the citation in the description, and then I availed myself to do that, and that's a significant step. You could say that that's one improvement as a YouTuber that I made right there in one move, is to upload that citation, not simply just adding the citation, but that I said I would do it and then I did it. That's a distinction in being a professional at anything, is to follow through on what we said to do, that we were expected to do, because we either said to do something or we said we would, or we were asked to do it. And then another appreciable development and then with that, I made another video about birds, saying that I was going to talk about the significance of our feet. So I'm coming back to do that in this video, to make the content maybe more compelling and more sturdy. Because even if you come across a cool channel and they're promising this and that and not doing it, it just looks kind of weak. And I think that maybe a viewer could appreciate that or not appreciate that if you weren't following through. And then so I was saying in that video, like another example of like going up a tier is that, so I had been interested in becoming a guitar player for a long time. I always enjoyed music, but I had a couple times where things didn't work out, like around initiatives with school, and I had some time on my hands. I'm the type of person where I've been working since I could work, like since about the day I could work. I've been working, and but there's been like maybe a couple of times in my life where I had to sit down for about a month or so, and just because of circumstance. And it actually, strangely enough, both times it had to do with some kind of complication with the vehicle, and that's very unsettling to a person who works, to have to sit down like that. But each time it was for about like maybe close to a month, like I had to recently, but it um but one of those times, I had an appreciation for guitar because I'd always enjoyed a lot of music, but there was a guitar sitting around, and I thought that even if I didn't have nothing, at least there go a guitar right there. What could I not accomplish with that guitar right there? And that had been a classical guitar that time, and at that time I didn't actually know what kind of guitar I wanted to play. And I thought that I was thinking I wanted to do something different than being a classical player. And then I would engage guitar a lot in the past, at different times, like with books, especially like acoustic guitar. And but though I didn't really get into my own from that standpoint, doing it alone like that. And then I had an experience where I spent a lot of time with acoustic guitar, but that something about those steel strings, it actually was grating on to the ears, and I was experiencing some repercussions with my with the it was painful to the ears, practicing that much with a steel guitar. But I was still interested in guitar, and I always had a lot of guitar resources lying around, and I flirted with different guitar relationships with teachers, like having different guitar teachers, but I didn't really get far with a lot of them, but I did learn things each time. But then somehow I came back around to being interested in classical guitar. It started to speak to me again, as it had actually been the first instrument to speak to me when I was on hard times. It had been laying around the house for my family member, and then I looked at I find that the classical guitar, it's softer, so it's therapeutic to the ears. If anything, you can spend lots and lots of time practicing classical guitar, and it doesn't it's not as painful as other forms of guitar in my experience. But I don't know if that's other people's experience. So it's beneficial from that point. I listened to one yogi in an interview, and they're saying that, or it might have been a book, and they're saying, yeah, but what about people who could get hurt doing yoga? And he said that if you're not trying to impress yourself or anyone, and you're not being excessive, it's as kind and gentle and healthy as the mother's milk yoga is. And I think that classical guitar is similar like that, where you can really engage it, and it's good for you on many levels. They say that classical music is good for learning, for children's development of their mind, but also for like studying. Classical music is good, but I think that classical guitar is the same, and it's also good for life, because what changed things for me is that I had a teacher who he he was very kind of methodical in life, and very attentive to detail, and very non-wasteful. He didn't waste words. He didn't waste statements. And his home was very minimal. I spent time with him at his home practicing with very close attention. He was paying me, and he didn't have anything unnecessary in his home. And he had maybe like a bicycle, a table, a couple chair, like a chair for himself, a chair for student, and like one or two books, and the rest was like a beautiful hardwood floor in the middle of the city where we were at. And the environment lent itself to the guitar and the approach. But he wanted me to practice multiple times in a day, like while watching YouTube or doing small things. He would be satisfied if I could practice for 3 and 5 minutes at first. He just wanted me to practice for 3 and 5 minutes a couple different times a day, and then that actually really takes off like smoking would. And I don't mean to reference smoking lightly or critically. If people enjoy that, I'm not trying to steer people towards that or criticize people for that, but just that it's similar in that it's very habit forming. Something that might actually be addictive about smoking is that when a person smokes, they there's something masterful about smoking. Like I've had I had a manager and a trainer once that were differently, that were they were highly skilled at what they did, the manager more so. And so like that manager, he could handle a pizza shop getting slammed by himself inside the kitchen. And as he's getting slammed by himself, he's getting on the driver's case like, what are you Sunday driving out there? I need you taking these orders out. But he had the orders good to go, neat, prepared, rock and roll money, ready to go. And the drivers can't keep up with him. And he's holding down the store, he's doing the man's work. And when I say man, I don't mean as in male, just the man, woman, the person that's wearing the pants in that moment as an adult. He's doing that work. And then they would say like, so you can say like pizza boy, like doing deliveries, and like it's kind of good to have the attitude of like being a boy, like for me when I'm driving, because it's like I'm happy to be working, and then if someone has a comment for me, I'm respectful. So like in that sense, like a pizza boy. But inside that shop, that's the pizza man. There's nothing a boy about any man or woman that would do that job inside the shop. There's nothing boy or girl about that, even though they may be a boy or girl inside the shop at the oven. You're not. But all I meant to say is that he did things that ordinary person should not. But he had a way of smoking where when he would smoke, he actually looked like a master. At different times, I thought I might have met a real life master around him, because he had a body language that was like, it's kind of like, some people might know what I'm talking about. It's a little bit graceful. It's like, it's both. It's almost feminine and it's masculine at the same time. And it's so feminine that it's masculine, and it's so masculine that it's feminine. There's something interesting about power, that power is very graceful. And if you experience power, there's something actually feminine and masculine at the same time about it. But I was thinking that might actually just be the habit of smoking, is that people smoke as though the same way that a master would practice is the same way that a smoker would smoke. So sometimes smokers are something of masters. And that might be what's addictive and hard to get away from, is that you have mastered something.